My salvation, I believe, is being who I truly am and not as who I think I want to be. I say this because the more I look at the reality of who I am right now, and in short time history, who have I been for the last few months, few years? The trajectory of my life, if I can carry on repeating the same patterns and not doing any significant difference or change, alterations in what I do with my time and how I perceive things, and the trajectory of my life basically is all based on patterns and habits. And if you don't show enough sign that you're changing things significantly enough, and that usually requires going inwards and becoming more self-aware and like introspective. If you're not working on yourself enough, as in changing your patterns, personal, no one else, then you can probably get a clear indication of your future, your actual future, what it's going to be if things go left unaddressed. And this, like, very stark and scary, ominous way that I'm portraying it is a sensation that I felt because the fact of the matter is, if I look at my life objectively without too much judgment, I look at the patterns and I go, oh my God, I am such a child. I'm so immature in my real preferences. And it's shameful to think like that. And then you ask, why is it shameful if it's just the truth? Why should any truth be shameful? Or, well, where does the shame comes from? If shame comes from an attachment to an ideology or an attachment to an expectation, some story that you've told yourself or that you've chosen to believe, or that's been told to you, whatever it is, it's a narrative that you say that I am this, that, and the other. And you have this expectation of, I want to have success, and I want to prove that I'm this and that and the other, and I have this big ego of mine, and I want to present to the world that, I'm well put together, and I'm, whatever it is. And then you build this picture of who you think you are. And our ego is so fixated on that story, that preference, rather than always touching in with the truth of the matter. And it's harder to see things objectively because we're all living subjectively, and we believe in what we say, and what we say is a reflection of what's inside and what society sees. And it's all very egocentric. And when you realize all these things and you step back and you're able to watch your ego and you're able to watch your mind at play, and you want to tune into your body, and you keep stepping back and you realize all of these elements are going on. And along this whole process, inside my mind, inside my emotions and my body and stuff, I realize all these patterns and I'm becoming more self-aware. And I keep going back to authenticity and truth of simply what is the observable experience that you are having at any given moment. And if you focus it on yourself, you will find a lot of answers. You would see a lot of symptoms. You would see and recognize a lot of patterns with objective truth of they exist, they are, this is. And if you observe who you are at any given time, oh, there's a knock at the door. That was the Amazon delivery. If you if you lock into the truth of who you are at any given moment, hopefully more often than not, it will paint a picture of reality that may really alter the way that you perceive your enthrallments and your captivation of other narratives that weren't true of you in the now. And what aspects you let take control. And it's usually of the mind and ego that's taking control. And we neglect our bodies and we neglect our levels of self-awareness because we're kind of spiraling downwards. And it's all tied in with mental health and self-awareness, self-development, all of that stuff that we all should be doing as individuals, all going inwards. And so for me, this is just part of the process. I am going inwards quite clearly, and I'm discovering a stage where I can use tools, technology, to facilitate my process of capturing these little ideas, golden nuggets of experience, and hopefully some answers and some remedy and solutions. I'm trying to collect them, and the process of doing so is, for me, so brave because it feels incredibly embarrassing to be myself. And that's the truth of it. Everyone is so, and it comes from proprietary, obviously, back in the day, but it's becoming more and more diluted and more dissolved, that restriction of proprietary, of the ego dominant experience, where we carry all this like shame of just being who we are. And if you are, what I'm referring to as an example is, if you're out in public making these video recordings of your environment and you're just really in the now and you're marveling at the beauty of what you see around you, with light and colors and sounds, and the senses come alive, and you're able to just stay in the now and go, this is a paradise. There's so much beauty here. It's because you're able to just switch off your mind and literally just tune into a channel of pure majesty. And that's a given moment. And that's a flow state. And that's a higher frequency state where you're able to thankfully just shut all that baggage, that noise, into a little safe box and close it, and it's soundproof, and boom, that constant noise inside you is able to just be silenced and forgotten for a while, and you just allow yourself to just tune into a different frequency, a higher frequency, and you're able to experience such majesty with the appropriate amount of self-control of that kind of constant mania that you might say is your mind, or you might say is your ego, or trauma when you go into psychology of it. And it's a fascinating journey to be on. It's all up and down, round and round. Very difficult to put into words, as always, but we try. And what I want to get back to is, I should not feel ashamed of being who I want to be at any given moment, who I choose to be. I should not be ashamed of that. And if I choose to stand in public and just feel very self-conscious, but recording these beautiful videos, because how else am I going to do it? How else can I capture life, without me being there and feeling awkward about it and feeling judged? That is enough to hold people back and hold me back from doing things like this. I'd always find sneakier ways to circumnavigate the embarrassment of standing in public and just like feeling like a dork and recording these, panning videos or whatever. We feel self-conscious, and people look at us and, wonder, you weirdo, like, why are you doing that? Are you high? It's like, yeah, I am. And I'm trying to be myself. I authentically feel like capturing the beauty of the moment. And I love to use technology to help me do that. That's why I've gravitated towards photography. And that's why I gravitate towards using the visual arts to try and emulate aesthetic beauty. And so that's a big part of my life. That's been a big part of my life. And now, once I push myself outside my comfort zone, I realize, truthfully, I do want to stand there and feel like I can capture this without feeling awkwardness or shame. That would be good, because it's more authentic, and I don't want to hold myself back from doing something like that. Or if it's about discussing matters of mental health, emotional health, physical health, opinions of yourself, anxiety, whatever it is, it's great to have conversations with other people, or at least be able to talk out loud, put words to it, put a language to it, put a narrative to it, a form of understanding to just like figure it out and find solutions and change your perspective, because that also is crucial. You need to change your perspective, and that all stems from awareness. And it's good to feel encouraged and supported, and if not welcomed, to just be yourself and not get caught up and not be held back by what other people think of you. The more that you connect with your true, authentic self, the more you will find salvations and answers that are just right there in front of you. You don't even have to think about it. And then it gets into that mystical category of resonance and synchronicity and whatever other terms that people come up with, where it's like you are able to just manifest and attract things to you. And I want to believe that that's true. I don't want to get there. I'm going through my own journey of understanding to get there. And all along the way, I'm trying to like capture it, study it, analyze it, and then reproduce it, recommunicate it as an educational form for myself. So I can listen to myself out loud. I can listen to my thoughts out loud, map things out, and then be able to, in my mind, visually portray them as a beautiful tapestry of how people are, how things work. And then you can create formulas and recognize patterns within these observed patterns and know further truths that seem to be beyond the capability of our mind alone. It's connecting to an inspiration, a form from a source that you don't fully know yet. But if you trust and you allow the process to just follow a code of honesty, humility, integrity, and all the other things, the good qualities, like making good choices, doing the right thing, taking care of yourself, and taking care of others, and opening your eyes and step into someone else's shoes, and all of these things, like how to treat ourselves, how to regulate and adjust our language as well, our thoughts, the thought forms as well. All of that, everything requires maintenance. Self this, that, and the other. Self-maintenance, self-help, self-development. We're so in need of healing, and it's all self-derived. And the more that we form a relationship with ourselves, as in authentic, not fiction, now, not future or past. It takes a lot of these qualities, and the process does mean that we're going to have to reject the stranglehold, the restrictions of ego, of judgment, of expectation, whatever it is. If we have anxiety about just being able to even show our capabilities, step up to the plate and give a speech, or reach out to that friend and let them know that you've observed them and you've recognized something deep within them, and you can probably bond. But for some reason, we hold back because maybe inside we think, oh, I've got so much work I need to do myself first before I socialize with other people and let them know my vulnerabilities. Hey, but what if we all get into the habit of being open with our vulnerabilities, which we are, with this whole movement of mental health awareness? This is one of the incredible things that's happening, and we can expedite this and scale it so that everyone is able to become a better person. And with a whole generation, very quickly, we can all make such a monumental shift into, hopefully, creating a new paradigm where we can evolve to our will if we all do that together in a supportive nature. And I think that hippy dippy shit is possible, and it comes from really like identifying ourselves more, giving ourselves way more attention to heal. And then from that, if you had a world in one generation alone who is able to unanimously, or at least in the majority enough, work on themselves and heal enough so that their traumas no longer shape their decisions and dictate their choices and restrict how they go about their lives, it will be truly transformative. And I deep down resonate with that. And I'm trying to bring that to the surface through my own journey, through my own actions. I'm trying to be the change that I wish to see in the world. And this process is nerve-wracking and stressful, straining, but also absolutely wonderful and liberating. And it feels so right. It feels so good to emancipate myself and upgrade myself and actually know and be myself, and not any projections or expectations. So with that, I admit I'm a child. I'm immature. I'm not a man in lots of aspects. I would like to take the best bits of what being a man means, but I'd also like to be myself. Are they contradictions if myself is someone who wants to play? I just want my life to be of play. I want to enjoy myself. What the hell's wrong with that? That seems to be a childish trait, childlike trait. But show me a better way of living. I mean, I know it's, it's so blue sky thinking because your mind and your ego comes in and goes, work, responsibilities, being an adult. That's always a conflict within me, and that's built this societal and truthful expectation. But I think there's so much potential and possibility in the unknown of yourself. Like when you truly, it feels like when there are more signs, more and more signs are coming to the surface and being part of my awareness anyway, and I think collectively, is that we keep seeing signs and signposts that guide us towards a realization that truth and what is and the now and all of these concepts, when we really, really become them and we practice them, we ingrain them, and we realize their potential, and we become who we are at any given time, and we see truths, and we create the space and the support. Wow, I mean, I keep coming back to this. It's what I want. It's what I want for myself, and it's what I want for society. We're facing oblivion just because we are getting caught up in our own ego mania, ego and mind mania. It's been left unchecked for too long, and we reap what we sow, unfortunately. So it's important for me to actually try and use my learnings of myself to say, hey, if other people believe this is so and resonate with it, then, man, let's all unite and do our own journey inwards, and let's make the next generation, with hard work, hopefully. We might skip a generation because there's a lot of people who are not even having kids because they're prioritizing sorting their own shit out. And also the world that we see outside, it's scary, and it's not of abundance, and it's not of certainty and safety. It is entirely scary and topsy-turvy, and our inner world too. So for those who have allowed themselves the space and whatever you need to survive and to get in touch with yourself and to love yourself and to find answers and peace, whatever journey you're on, we're all kind of on that journey as well. And we can use different language and different ideologies, but I think really we're able to open our eyes and see that we're all talking about the same kind of stuff. And it's great. It's great.